All right. Okay, so I'm now live. So, hi everyone. Good evening. I'm Nikki. I'm I traveled to Switzerland today. I went to Lucerne for a day trip, and um, one of the recommendations when I went there was to go to this confectionery called Bachmann. So, inside the place, there was a lot of pastries, chocolate, sweets. Like this is like considered Swiss because of the Swiss chocolates and stuff. I don't. The reason why I'm having this live video is I want to warn everyone not to ever go to Bachman. So, one, I was a paying customer. I bought two overpriced pastries. I'm currently living in France and I feel like the pastries there were more expensive. I mean, this is expected because Switzerland is generally more expensive than anywhere else in Europe, so I kind of expected that. But with the reputation and the recommendation from everyone, from the hype from Bachmann, I was expecting that it could have been something better, but it wasn't. It was like mediocre pastry. So I paid for two overpriced pastries because it was highly recommended. And when we went in to the dining area, I have friends with me, and we were traveling the whole day. We were walking around town. Uh, one something that you'd expect from Switzerland is that there are public toilets, but they're not. They're very scarce around the city. So if they're like, I was able to try one public toilet, but it was dirty and stinky. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to use a public toilet. It was free, but it was stinky and dirty. So a lot of restaurants have toilets, but you have to pay for them. Like even when we went like on the way to Lucerne, we stopped over at a gas station. There was a toilet, but you have to pay 1 franc to use the toilet. And 1 franc is more expensive than €1. It's almost like €1, but more expensive than it. You know what I mean? So toilets are expensive. I think it's expensive because I think using the toilet is a basic human right. Like, where else can I pee if I need to pee? And like people, like this is like a bodily function that no one can, no, I cannot stop myself from not peeing. You know what I mean? So people cannot, like people have to pay for this basic human right in Switzerland. And going back to Bachman, uh, so I expected, well, because I was a paying customer, I expected that paying customers would have access to toilets. But lo and behold, paying customers also have to pay 1 franc to access toilets. So I'm like, oh no, I refused to pay 1 franc. So I'm like, I'm just gonna hold it in. I'm going to a different place where I could use clean toilets. So the highlight of this was when I saw one of the servers in his counter. He was preparing glasses and he was filling in the glasses, pouring the water into the glasses. And I even saw paying like another paying customer from our table. Like there was a long dining table where everyone could eat their pastries or eat their food. This customer, I saw him stand up, go to the staff, and get a glass of water. So I also did the same. Actually, I did them a favor because I brought out my tumbler because I didn't want them to, I'm all for sustainability and green, whatever, ecological, save the earth movement. I'm all for that. I always bring my tumbler where I could fill in water. I brought my tumbler and my receipt, by the way. And I was like, the dining table was right in front of the counter. So the guy could have seen me stand up with my receipt and my tumbler. But when I went to the counter, I have my tumbler and I asked him, "Can I have a refill of water?" And he looked at me up and down, like up from top to bottom. He looked at me like that and he said, "No." like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you say no to a paying customer? Like, I had my receipt. I'm like, but I'm a paying customer. And it's just, no. You just said no. Okay, fine. Because maybe he didn't see me pay for my food. So I went to a different counter because there were two counters in that shop. Um, I'm guessing this other counter where I went to first, they were serving hot meals, and then the other counter were was a place where the pastries are. So I went to the other counter where I bought my pastries, and I was just standing up at the counter because I wanted to talk to the staff who sold me the pastries. And I had my receipt still and the tumbler. And there was a staff, because there were many staff there because it's like filled with tourists. There was a woman who saw me waiting, and she was like, "How may I help you?" So I'm like, "Can I have a refill of water?" I was holding my receipt, and she's like, she did a long, and she looked at me like up, top to bottom, left to right, like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And she just did like that. So I'm like, excuse me. I showed my receipt. I'm like, I paid for the pastries here. Can I have at least tap water? I wasn't asking for bottled water. I was asking for tap fucking water. And I had my tumbler. They like, I was doing them a favor by bringing my tumbler because they didn't even have to wash the glasses. You know what I mean? So they will not be using up resources for dishwashing liquid to wash the glasses because I have my tumbler and I have my receipt. I was a paying customers. And the lady finally said, fine, something like that. Like, if I didn't say that I paid for my pastry, she wouldn't have given me water. But the racism thing, the racist part that I think happened was, why was it that the other eating customers were given glasses of water and I wasn't? And I had the initiative to bring my tumbler because I don't want them to waste any of their resources because I'm pro for Mother Earth. And they didn't. I'm like, I'm being proactive here so that you don't have to wash the glasses. That's why I brought my tumbler. But despite that, they didn't give me tap water. I wasn't asking for bottled water. I was asking for tap water, the same kind of water that they were giving out to eating customers at the dining table. So, if you visit Switzerland, avoid Bachmann at all costs because I think they were trained to be racist to people. And I was surprised actually, and I was regretting that. I was very regretful that I didn't check the Google Maps reviews beforehand because I went there only because the locals recommended me to go to Bachmann because it was like, oh, it's highly recommended. They have very good confectionaries, blah, blah, blah. So I went there. But if I saw the Google review that they were racist, I would skip it. So do yourself a favor and please boycott that place because I don't think it needs, I don't think people deserve the kind of racism that they do there. So, just to give you an overview, I'm a brown Asian. So, I'm not sure if my skin color made them racist towards me, but that's what I experienced. So, avoid Bachmann at all costs. When you go to Switzerland, just don't go to Bachmann because they're racists. So, that's all. Bye.